Hello, the game has started. It is me to go first. I've got 3 N's, so I don't think there's a bingo here. Can't see anything beginning with non. So I'd like to play off 2 of the N's, certainly. And I'm looking at the M for score, and I'm wondering about non-man. I think that's good. But is there a better play? I could play Donna, keeping AM. That's worth considering. Keeping MN. Well, let me see if non-man is good, and I think it is, for 18 points. Great, that looks quite promising. I'm not seeing a 7, but quite a few floaters on the board. So, what do I have here? I do have a couple of high-scoring tiles, so there may not be a bingo here. I've got the Dom ending. Not seeing anything there. How about the N, or 3 N's? I would have the ment ending, but hardment not good. I think it's hardiment with an I. So how about the O? That looks like there could be something there, but nothing is coming to mind. M duplicates a tile on my rack, and thrammed isn't good. So how about the other vowel, the A? Again, that, as with the O, that looks like there could be something, but I think that's probably just a reflection of the fact that this is a balanced rack. I have home as a component part of a word, but I'm not seeing a bingo with the remaining trad. So, am I missing something with the A? No, not that I can see. I've got hard as a component part of a word on my rack. And the ed ending or de beginning, probably the most common prefix or suffix. Well, not seeing anything through the O. Wow, fantastic start for opponent. S and a blank. Am I able to reply in kind? Quite a few further floaters to consider. How about the I? So I don't think hard time is good. Quite a crucial moment this if I miss a bingo. Not seeing anything with the F, that doesn't look promising. How about the U? No. And that leaves the S, which, well, there could be something here. But it's not coming to mind. So, I need to think of my scoring tiles, and I note that my H can go next to the S. So I could play ham. Well, I can play HM for 24, and this 5-letter rackleeb is pretty good, and it goes well with N's and I's, and HM isn't giving much away. If anything, it simply invites a short parallel play, which will leave the floaters alone. One last pause in case there's a bingo which I've missed. But I'm not seeing it, so I'm going with Well, not a great pickup. I would have dragster through the S, which I've blocked. I would have gartered and garroted through an E. No E's available. So, what about the O and the I? This looks like a rack which would benefit from a vowel. This rack plus an O. Well, not seeing anything. How about an I? Yeah, opponent does play down in the bottom right for just 24 points. And I'm looking to see if I have a bingo, and I'm considering the I of infamous. Not seeing anything. So, how about the N? That doesn't feel great. Grand, but then ERT. And I've only got 1 and 2 point tiles, so I'm going to struggle to score, and I don't want to block the board, which leads me to consider the bottom right. So I'd like to play off the G. I'd like to split up the duplicate R. Can I do that down here? Well, I could play G double R, which only scores 14 points, but it doesn't provide terribly much for my opponent. Gerd does take an L, but nothing else. And this 4-letter rack leave is quite good, and it goes well with the I, N, and R floaters. I am going with this, and I draw an L. I have leotard. Not sure there's anywhere for that. It doesn't hook ger. Does leotard have an anagram? Delator, which also doesn't go. It doesn't go in row O, but it does go in row I. So hopefully that will remain available. Now to look for other bingos. What about this rack plus an I? Well, idolater and tailored. How about row E, which is a double lane? Okay, well, hopefully he'll be back. He should be. He leads, and he had a great start. And he is. So this rack plus an N. Very high probability. Well, I haven't given up on there being a word, but it hasn't come to mind. And it still hasn't. The F, well, any play through that, possibly deflator, I'm not sure, but that wouldn't get doubled. What else is there? I don't think there are any other anagrams apart from leotard. Oh, well, that's probably the worst, pretty much the worst I was expecting. Except opponent could have put a high-scoring tile next to the L and eked out a bit more. So, do I have a play in column 15 ending with D? Probably ending ED. No, not seeing anything. So I have delator in row I. Just seeing where tailored finishes, and that finishes in the middle of column 15, but it does cover the double letter square. Have I considered all options? Tailored, idolater, is there a third anagram there? Could be. Have I considered the O of non-man? No, not seeing anything there. So, I think the only thing I've seen is delator. That goes. Oh, apart from tailored. So that's 65. What would tailored score? 72, 7 more points. I think that's worth doing because delator provides access to a triple word square. And this provides access to 3 of them. Tailored for 74. Well, not great, but I am drawing 7 random tiles, and it could be a lot worse. I could play Awa and leave a very good 4-letter set of ADES. I'm not looking for a bingo with this rack. And Awa also plays, or does play rather, in row C above the top of tailored. For over 20 points. Now, what about these triple word squares? I think adored is good, in which case I have that in column 15, which doesn't leave as good a rack leave as Awa, but the score would justify that. So, what else do I have? Do I have anything in column 8? I don't think so. Look at this, we're just 1 point away from each other in score. Super tight game. And we're both down to 14 minutes. So, do I have a play in row E? Well, I have NAW, but I'd rather keep 1A rather than 2. And I didn't mention it, but it's great to have another S on my rack. As soon as you see that towards the beginning of the game, you're hopeful that it will be part of a bingo before too long. Now, for future reference, coiled does take RE in front. 33 points could be useful. An opponent taking a while with this move. He could be looking for something really good, or he could be concerned about leaving column 15 available. Wow, I thought I did have a bingo for a moment, but awardees requires more ease. So, any other spots I've missed? I haven't seen terribly much. All I've seen is adored and Awa. I'm optimistic that one of those will remain available, however. And I'm not seeing anything in column 8 onto this T, which uses both A's. I do have Dort. Wow, fantastic bingo by opponent. 86 points. He blocks adored. But I have Awa for 23, and that creates a new bingo lane for bingos ending in S. I'm going with this. Just pausing in case Interbed has provided a hot W spot. And it hasn't. But what about column 15? I don't have adored through that D. I can't see any plays which use 2 A's and the W. I'm going with this. Pretty good. That looks close to a bingo. I have Adipose, which plays in rows E and C. And in row I am bingoing. Fantastic. So, where is the best spot? And are there any other bingos I need to consider? Well, I guess either row E or C gets doubled, and row C is more constraining in terms of the floaters that are provided, as in there's less flexibility as to their location in a bingo. I trail by 60 points, so I'm likely to be behind even after this bingo, but I'll be a lot closer than I am now. I hope opponent could be about to bingo again. There's still 1 blank out there. And there are also all 4 of the big tiles, J, Q, X and Z. So plenty of action still to come. 42 tiles in the bag. There goes one of the big tiles. My adipose spot remains available. Now, what I didn't consider was, do I have a bingo through this N of the infamous, which is part of a double lane? So this rack plus an N, pretty high probability, but it's not coming to mind, if there is one. So this is what I'm thinking of, adipose, 473. And look at this, super hot X spots, but I'm 100 behind, so I think a volatile board is good for me. Adipose for 73. I don't draw the X, in fact I draw a pretty grim rack. And although the K and the Y are good scoring tiles, 3 I's and a U, could take a few moves to work my way through. And I trail by 30. So, what to do? I'm not seeing any words which play the I with the K and the Y. I could play Caillou or Yuck. As in, I've got the tiles for that on my rack. Now, what about Yidaki? Wow, I think that's good, and that would be fantastic in terms of... yeah, it would be fantastic in terms of sorting my rack out, but I would need a D and an A for that. Okay, I think I saw these 2 tiles and superimposed one of them onto my rack. Yeah. So, wow, another bingo for opponent. Absolutely fantastic. 76 points. I'm now 100 behind. But there's still the X and the Z out there, and this is quite a wide open board. So, is there some sort of low probability word using some of these vowels with my scoring tiles? Awa takes a Y after it. I'm just wondering if it was Yidiki I was thinking of, which I do have the tiles for, but opponent has blocked and is not available in column 15. Let me just check that out of curiosity. No, okay, well, I'm thinking of something else. So, back to the task in hand, sorting this rack out. I don't have to play off K and Y in one turn. 25 tiles to come, 11 minutes on my clock. But if I play off one of them, I'd like to do something about these I's and S's. Now, Y can go under both of these vowels in adipose. So, just 2 A's to come. I could play Yin for 30. I could play Books up here for 33. Can I do any better? And it's these rack leaves I'm really struggling with. My Y can go after AL. 1 S to come. The S is a good bingo-y tile. But this rack is so far from a bingo, it may be worth jettisoning it to sort the rack out in a more expeditious manner. I'm not seeing anything apart from books in row A, and that is quite nice. It is getting rid of the U, the I, one of my big tiles. And it turns over a lot of tiles, which is usually bad if you're behind, but I think the X would be quite a hot tile to get. I guess I'm worried that I'm overlooking some good play which retains the S. I certainly need to play off one of the I's. The third I is pretty devastating in terms of rack leave value. So I am going with books for 33. And I draw some scoring tiles, which could be quite good. I trail by 70. But for example, I've got win in row F for a good score. What would be the worst at the moment would be to have a bunch of one-pointers which didn't make a bingo. So do I have a play down column 2, getting doubled, with a high-scoring tile on the triple letter square? No, I don't think so. I would like to play off one of my duplicate I's. Wow, good score for opponent, burns the Q. The X and the Z are still to come. Just wondering if I have a play which hits both of these triple letter squares. Don't think I do. So this is what I was thinking of. Win for 34. It leaves this X spot alone. I've got the I for XI. And it creates a new hotspot in column 1. All the C's have gone, so I'm not going to play Wicopy, which would be good fun. Rack leave not great. This is 34. Can I score more? WH could play underneath OS. Am I missing something? Rack leave just doesn't feel as good as it could be, and the score also not as good as it could be. Let me have a little think. So, are there any other good spots around the board for my big tiles? And I'm definitely looking to play off 2 of them. It would be nice to play off 3. I think that might have been part of my concern about win. Well, I can play off 3 here for 36, but that's keeping duplicate I. Let me check the remaining vowels. 10 out of 25. I think this is too unbalanced. 6 minutes on my clock. Again, looking at hitting both, but I can't. Nothing goes between hour and A. Can't see anything good in row B. Just wondering about playing just Hin. But I think there are too many front hooks and the rack leave is too unbalanced. I'm going with this. Win for 34. No X. However, I do have scoring tiles, but it's a very unbalanced rack and I trail by 80, so I'm not in good shape. I have Poovy on my rack, not seeing anywhere for that. Is there anywhere for... Wow, another bingo for opponent. I think I can see which way this game is going now. Opponent 150 points ahead with just 8 tiles in the bag. So my race certainly is run. And I don't think I even have a play down from the W. I could play Tivy for quite a low score. Poovy through the O for even less. 5 minutes on my clock. What about a play down column 11? No, not seeing a play there. So this is what I was thinking about. Look at this dreadful rack leave. Let me again check remaining vowels. 5 out of 13. 4 minutes on my clock. And I'm looking now to minimise the losing spread. I have VoIP on my rack. Does that play anywhere? No, I don't think it does. I have Polly in row C. I'd really like to play off more vowels. 3 minutes on my clock. What about a play in row H? Not seeing anything. And I've not seen anywhere for Poovy, which would sort the rack out to some extent. Okay, I think I'm going back to Tivy for 20. I draw the X, so I do have XI in row F. But it's not going to affect the result of the game. Opponents already on 440 points, leading by 130. So what if my X spot is blocked? Well, I have Wox for 39, pretty good. Anything else? I've drawn the second V. So I have Vox under non-man. Seven minutes on opponent's clock, 3 on mine. And nice play by opponent, takes out that X spot. 3 tiles in the bag, which makes it fairly easy to play Wox for 39. And I draw the Z, so I may be able to score something half decent with that. 3 minutes on my clock, 7 on opponents. So 38 points, great score for opponent. And I can see what he's got left. Can he go out in 1? It's ungod rather than undog, so he can't go out through the D. How about the T? Not seeing anything. N or O. Gosh, maybe he's not going out in 1. He wouldn't be able to plan his out because there was 1 tile in the bag. So I can play Zip for 38. And if opponent doesn't go out, and he may be able to, I didn't look extensively. I have Rivo. Not seeing anywhere for that. 2 minutes on my clock. Not seeing anything through the T. Or the O. So I may not be going out. Ivory just misses. And if I can't go out, then there may have been a superior play to Zip, which would enable me to go out. I have viol in row C, leaving just an R. Two minutes on opponent's clock. Where else should I be considering? $14 for opponent. So the best I've seen is viol. Have I overlooked something? Opponent can certainly go out in more than one spot with UN. He's got gun. And he's got and na. So this is my last play. And I'm not seeing an out in one. So I can play viol for 18. Which blocks UN. Wow, uncoiled. What a spectacular finish. 33 points. And the final score, 408 to me, 569 for my opponent, a winning margin of 161 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. Wow, what an amazing score by opponent. Loads of bingos in that game. It was me to go first, and I certainly don't like retaining double N, so I'm happy with my play. And now this is a great rack for opponent. F and U, pretty non-bingo-y, but look at this, a ton of bingos. Now my rack, and I was just waiting for a missed bingo to pop up, but there wasn't one there. Hardest, a double in row K. I should have looked for that. So I play HM for 24. Now that looks terrible. It's 20 fewer points, but hardest retains M. Let me just go back. Hardest retains just M, and HM retains data. So I don't think data is 20 points better than M, but M must be worth about -1 or 0, and data must be worth, I would say, in excess of 10, somewhere between 10 and 15. So although hardest is a better play, it's not 20 points better. Opponent's rack. Plays C. Garroted! Oh my word, how did I miss that? Okay, so there was a bingo through the O. Garroted. Ouch. And instead I played Gur for 14. Yep, okay. So opponent's rack. Plays coiled. And now I do spot the high probability bingo. And deflator was good. So I played tailored, and now an absolutely superb spot by opponent of interbed for 86, and I trail by 80. C11. Well, yeah, Ador for 30. I played Awa for 24, 6 fewer points, but D, I would say, helps AES by 6 points, or very close to that. So I'm happy with my play. Opponent's rack plays Taj. And now I have Adipose, which plays in row B and also plays in row E, which is where I played it for 6 fewer points. And I'm not a fan of Adipose in row B, putting EAT underneath a triple word square. Now, great rack for opponent. He's drawn the second blank, plays Bellings, and I'm 100 and odd points behind with this horror show of a rack. And I play books, which just scrapes in at the bottom here. But look at these rack leaves, they all make one wince. And none of these plays stand out as obviously better than Buick's. Certainly not the top choice one with a rack leave of IISUY. So, happy with my play. Opponent's rack, got the Q with the U. Plays quad. And now I didn't like this play, but I went with win in the end. Nothing obviously better. Fantastic rack for opponent, and another bingo goes down. And that secures the win. I'm 150 points behind, and there are 8 tiles in the bag. I played TV for 20, F1. Whoopie was available, keeping double IV. I would have played that if I'd seen it. Opponent's rack plays Whiny, which was a great play, taking out the X danger. Now I play Wox for 39, which looks fine. And this is opponent's rack with 1 in the bag. Plays Turf. And I have this rack, M2. I don't think that's where I played it. Zip parallel to a stated for 7 more points to the spot where I played. That would have been a better move. Now, do any of these plays allow an out in 2? Possibly Visey with IOPR. But anyway, I didn't see that or even consider it. I went with Zip. And opponent does have an out. G8. Guano through this A, running over the top of non-man for 17. But he may have preferred uncoiled. He may have seen that I couldn't go out and liked the points with uncoiled and gov. This is my rack. I can't block uncoiled and I can't go out. So I play Viol for 18 and that looks best. And then an absolutely splendid finish for opponent. Great way to finish off a tremendous performance by him. Not often you see scores in excess of 550 points, and that's exactly what my opponent achieved. So well done once again to my opponent for a great victory. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.